Hey everybody, it's PartyElite, welcoming you to the kickoff of a brand new Total War Warhammer 3 Let's Play on the channel, one that I've been excited for since before Warhammer 3 even released. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Chaos Dwarfs. Thanks to the folks over at Creative Assembly, I've got an early access key to the DLC, which allows me to showcase it on the channel, and I've actually already done a deep dive video into the factions' mechanics, what makes them stand out, etc., and you can check that out linked in the pinned comment down below. Having that video means that I don't have to front load this episode with a bunch of mechanics discussions, which I think works for the better, but let me know if you feel differently in the comments. And with that said, folks, if you want to see the series continue, if you'd like to see it go to completion, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. That has a direct impact on what you see more or less of on the channel, so if you want more Total War Warhammer 3, hit that like button, leave a comment, and it'll keep going. With that said, though, folks, let's not waste any more time with an introduction. Let's dive right on in to the realm of chaos. And yes, right off the bat, you might be surprised, why not Immortal Empires? Folks, I really quite enjoy the narratives that the people over at Creative Assembly are able to create around these factions, and I'm always curious to see what the storyline is with a new faction, how they've been translated into gameplay mechanics, etc. So I'm really quite attached to the realm of chaos, despite how it launched and, you know, all that noise. Immortal Empires doesn't have that narrative angle, and so we're going to go into the realm of chaos, and then down the line at some point in time, maybe with a different faction leader, we'll go in with the Immortal Empires campaign. Anyway, realm of chaos it is, and of course we're playing as the Chaos Dwarfs, and we're playing as none other than Astragoth Ironhand. If you watched my trailer analysis video, you knew this was coming. I was blatantly obvious about my bias here. Astragoth Ironhand it shall be, and he's got a pretty interesting starting army. He's got the Bull Centaur Renders, who are quite fun, anti-infantry, armor-piercing. They're I was going to call them terrifying, but they're not mechanically terrifying. Mechanically they cause fear, but they're, you know, metaphorically terrifying. Otherwise, we've got the Goblin Laborers over here, and Laborers are going to, at the beginning of the campaign, be a bit of a sort of backbone of the army kind of situation, but hopefully we can get out of that pretty quickly. We also have a unit of Orc Laborers. Again, these guys are pretty cheaply available, and they are, well, they're great to put in the way or in between your own troops and the enemy, as your own troops do more important things. On the topic of our own troops, so to speak, we have the Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, again armor piercing of course with those great weapons, and we have a unit of Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses who have armor piercing missile strength. So that's our starting army. We'll have a few options with regards to what to add to that pretty early on, so very excited for the opening moves here. The faction effects involve an improved Conclave influence gain from all sources. Conclave influence is used for research, it's used for gaining access to buffs at the Tower of Zharr, so all that good stuff. We get a boost to our research rate as well, and improved control across all provinces, which will be extremely helpful, especially because of the stuff I usually have to end up dealing with because of how I like to play. The Lord himself has Mechanical Overdrive as a passive ability. Base weapon damage and melee attack go up depending on how many kills he's actually made, so got to keep him active and involved in combat. His army also has an improved replenishment rate, and finally, Bull Centaur Render units in his army have a ward save of 15%, so we got to keep that in mind when we're figuring out what we want to build and what we want to recruit, right? So that is everything I have to say with regards to this screen. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are in fact playing on very hard, which will be very interesting if there's a bit of rust developing, since it has been some time since I last played. But hey, that's part of the spice, isn't it? Folks, with all that said and done, let's begin.
Echoed throughout the mines of the Dawi Zharr is a legend of immeasurable power hidden deep under the mountains. A liquid magic so potent it can raise entire cities, leaving nothing but cinders and ash. Eager to exploit this power, the sorcerer prophets of Zharr Nagrund sought to reach the source of this demonic substance, the domain of their malign god, Hashut, the father of darkness. For centuries they dug, exhausting countless workers as they delved deeper than the mountain roots themselves. 2 ashen moons ago, in the depths of the darkest pit, a discovery was made. A trickle of pure power, a crimson seam divining a way through the rocky layers to where Hashut dwells. And so, it was bottled in a vessel of infernal design, rushed to the surface through the fires of industry, to the highest authority. In the council chambers of Astragoth Ironhand, it was presented. Roiling with unholy energy, its gloriously terrible glow glinted in the eyes of all who set their gaze upon it. The blood of Hashut. Far rarer than warpstone and gold, very few vials had ever been extracted from the mines. The key to limitless power.
Exo arbu dakangron, grastrings tarain.
Astragoth, High Priest of Hashut, roared to the god of darkness. And he replied. Ancient channels etched in rock flow with molten fury. A great drill shall be constructed, forged in the dread fires of the Darklands, imbued with strength to bore through the bedrock and breach a godly domain.
Urtsi will shaba ad. Lunta grun.
The forge burns. The fires catch from the depths. The Chaos Dwarfs will rise. The Tower of Zarnagrund, the dread city where all wealth and sacrifices flow. But Astragoth is absent from the capital, having taken residence upon the Zorn Uzkal. Greenskin tribes must be routed, while Skaven and vampires are purged from their nests before the High Priest can enact his scheme. And here, the site of Iron Hand's intent. The great drill stands, but is not operational yet.
Eras these groby megos. Maskamzak mus barak show.
The launch site is made ready at a speed so furious, it becomes a mass graveyard for hundreds of exhausted workers. Expendable lives, for only the drill is of concern. The remaining construction must be imbued with dark sorcery, for the blood of Hashut lies not only in the darkest depths of the world, but in a godly domain where no mortal engine can reach it. 4 dwarf relics are required, each to be corrupted in the forges of the demon smiths. Only then shall the drill summon power enough to shatter solid rock and the foundations of reality itself. As the abhorrent relics lie undiscovered, a sacrifice must be undertaken to gain Hashut's blessing and reveal their locations.
All right, that was a prolonged introduction, but a pretty dope one. I'm liking the storyline already. It's going to be interesting. So we have the end over here that did not have a VO. To access the endless supply of Hashut's blood, you must complete the Great Drill of Hashut to bore directly into his domain. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Let's get to it. Go ahead and close this, and just make a quick note of the Great Drill of Hashut up over here, which is directly related to our storyline or our main campaign objectives. The first order of business is going to be building the high-powered drill assembly line, which is a building chain at our capital that needs to be upgraded to the second level over here. In order to do so, we're actually going to need more than just pure gold. The Chaos Dwarf economy is quite interesting. It involves multiple parts, multiple moving parts. They feed into each other, and one of those moving parts is raw materials. So we're going to need 1,500 raw materials to actually build the high-powered drill assembly line, which will then allow us to make progress. And this kind of applies to a multitude of things. There are, for example, infrastructure buildings that require raw materials as well. Separately, raw materials are used to produce armaments, listed up over here. Armaments are used to get advanced military buildings built, and they're separately also used to unlock greater unit capacity at the Hellforge, and separately, as we'll discover later on, they're also used to provide upgrades to the various unit categories you see listed over here. All these runes that you see mentioned as I hover over these markers, those can be added to units as per their categories, and they have an upkeep cost associated with them. So that's kind of a major thing that needs to be touched on right away because it's relevant to our initial campaign objective. I promise you I'm not going to just do a huge info dump of system mechanics right at the beginning of this episode. So again, as a reminder, if you missed it at the beginning, I do have a separate video that does do that info dump, a deep dive and some explanations and tips and pointers. That'll be linked in the pinned comment down below. But with that said, let's get this party started, right? Let's go ahead and get our lovely hero here, the Bull Centaur Talruk, into Astragoth's army. And again, your classic opening to a campaign, right? We'll head down over here, eliminate Grizguts' army, and then we'll move on down to this fort down over here to secure this for ourselves. And as we're doing that, why don't we go ahead and do some construction as well, perhaps? I'm thinking it wouldn't be a terrible idea to upgrade, or rather to build a mine to procure more raw materials more quickly, but we do have to be careful about that growth rate because, as you can see, if I go to build this mine, while it will produce 200 raw materials per turn, it will also increase the amount of workload that we need at this province to maintain that rate of return, let's call it. If you don't have enough laborers versus the workload at the province, you start to see a drop in efficiency. Your average efficiency across your empire is listed up over here, but each province will have its own kind of breakdown as well. So at the top is the number of laborers. That word, I swear. At the top is the number of, air quotes, laborers that are working in your industry, and at the bottom is the actual workload in that province. And you just have to make sure that you have more laborers than your workload requires, because otherwise you're going to suffer a drop in efficiency. What I'm actually going to do over here is rush the construction of this mine. 200 per turn. 200 is what we're going to spend in laborers, to actually build the mine itself, and I think that's fine. Because even though it'll drop our efficiency ever so slightly, the upcoming battles it'll take care of that. I'm not too concerned about that. So we'll get raw materials rolling out a bit more quickly. That means we'll move just that much faster towards the high-powered drill assembly line. And apart from that, we can check this box, and we can also check this box because we'll explain those mechanics as they become relevant. All right. To the battlefield we go to kick things off. Obviously, this is the first battle of the series, so we have to dive into it. Yeah, it's a decisive victory, but this gives us an opportunity to test these guys out and show off their moves. So, to the battlefield we go. Alright, folks, this should be nice and easy. This isn't a very complicated battle at all. Let's go ahead and start deployment. And we've actually got a pair of Goblin Laborers and a pair of Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses to start. That's nice. I'm going to chase after a larger firing line because I am partial to ranged units. I just like how it feels to see a charging line get completely obliterated by gunfire and stuff like that. But yes, let's go ahead and set these guys up. One thing we want to keep in mind is that your Chaos Dwarf or your non-laborer, non-hobgoblin units have this Contempt unit ability, which means they actually bolster the leadership of your laborer and hobgoblin units who have this malign authority unit ability. So you want to kind of pair these guys up nicely so that the laborers and the hobgoblins don't break as quickly as they otherwise would. So just something to keep in mind. But of course, there is a limited range on that. On that Contempt, right? Because as you can see, it's a 55-meter range on malign authority. So just something to keep in mind as lines get bigger and bigger. But again, I don't need to overcomplicate this battle. Let's go ahead and get the goblins like this. Let's get the orcs out like this. We'll get our guns over here and over here. Let's put our bull centaur renders to the side here alongside Zorak, whose name is obviously up for grabs. Folks, if you have name suggestions for units that have particularly good performances, or for heroes and lords and things like that, drop them in the comments down below. As always, it is fun to get that custom touch. If you have backstories for them, drop them in the comments as well, and we'll make sure to implement and integrate those. And obviously, if you make reference to stuff that actually happens in an episode or in a past episode, that's always cool and always fun. So yeah, keep dropping them in the comments as always, and we'll build our own world and our own story inside the greater meta story of the Chaos Dwarf campaign. This is a decent setup. Let's get these guys grouped up before I forget, and let's turn. Yeah, that's all good. Start battle. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate things. Let's go ahead and slowly creep up. Get these guys slowly creeping up on the side as well. And as they're doing that, we could take a look at how these guys actually look over here. There we go. Get that nice cinematic set of black bars at the top and bottom. Slow the camera down a little bit because it's a little janky. There we go. Excellent. So here are our orc laborers. Looking pretty good. I'm pretty... the visually, like... The game looks good. Right? Like, what else is there to say about that? The game looks good. It continues to look good. Look at that. Look at that. They look great. Look even better when they're actually shooting. Oh my goodness. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Look at the depth of field off in the distance there. The atmospheric kind of like lighting and stuff. Here are goblin laborers, as they're called. And then up front, of course, we have Astragoth himself. A little bit on the faster side compared to his compatriots. He has some assistance on that front, obviously, as you can see. And it does give him a bit of a speed advantage, but... looking pretty cool. He has some really fun idle animations and stuff as well, but we'll get to that when we kind of get to it. And then separately, oh, of course, look at that. He's like a hot rod. I absolutely love it. There was no way we weren't going to get Astragoth as our first campaign over here. It is so much fun. And then if we make our way over to the other side, these guys are not moving. They should be coming up as well. Let's go. As they're making their way over, let's go ahead and take a look at them as well. And again, folks, most battles will move through much more quickly, and it'll be a lot more intense. But since this is the opening battle of the campaign, I figured we could spend some time looking at the units and maybe catching some cool cinematic shots of combat as well. But look at these guys, man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They are so swole. It's good stuff. And where's our boss man here? Look at him. There we go. Man, the environment here, the lighting and stuff is really nice. I'm really quite enamored by the background. I mean, the units are great as well, but geez, the view like that is, woof. Oh my goodness, that's some good stuff. All right. Excited to be back with Total War, folks. Excited to be back. Been waiting for this for so long, so this is great. All right, let's get the action started here. Let's nudge these guys a bit further up. Again, the gun lines should be able to get a decent bit of damage done. We're up against a bunch of goblins and goblin archers, right? Some black orcs back there, but that's it'll be fine. It will be fine. Are we able to shoot? Nope, still a little too far away. Get these guys moving up over here. Shut down enemy ranged ASAP, right? Let's get these guys moving up to over here. More quickly now, and we should be able to start firing away in just a moment's time. Wouldn't mind some focus fire, but we'll see how the enemy responds to our advances, and that might need to... we might need to adjust our approach. Fire at these goblins, perhaps. You know, let's get you firing up over there. Go. These guys coming up this way. There we go. Beautiful stuff. Decent bit of damage to kick things off. Yeah. Over here as well. Keep firing. Come on. Fire up there instead. And we'll get these guys Coming to these archers. In comes some enemy charges. Let's countercharge. Let's go. Trying to get cinematic shots while also giving orders is a trip. And back over here. Here we go with another charge. Let's go, baby. Be good enough. Should be able to close this gap over here. Just a bunch of goblin archers. In we go. Beautiful stuff. Oh, yeah. Beautiful stuff. Love to see it. Love to see it. Astragoth, where you at? You're back there. Pull you up a bit. Keep these guys firing up there. Can we reach these black orcs, or will we get involved in melee? You know what? Let's pull you off to the side over here. And let's send these goblins up over here. Send these guys up as well. Let's go. Up against those black orcs. Maybe a rear charge. We'll do some work. Bring you up there. Let's go. These guys are firing up over there. Nudge you up a little bit. We can fire into the backs of these goblins, or we can fire into these black orcs. I think we'll hit these black orcs. They are armored, right? And the blunderbusses are armor piercing. So I'd be a fool not to take advantage of that. Pull the renders and Zorak back. And Astragoth, let's get you in there. We do have our Burning Wrath. Pop that over here. I don't know if that's the best spot for it, but it's been cast now, so it is what it is. In comes a shot, and of course the banner covers it, but it's a prolonged effect. It sticks around for a little while, and it's actually going to do more damage to our laborers there, it looks like, but we're okay. All right, are we opening fire on the black orcs? We're trying to. All right, let's hold them in place and open fire. Good stuff. These guys are able to close the gap as well. Cool. And up over here, turn around and open fire. Let's go. Get that cinematic look going again. We should be able to open fire. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, look at that. In go the goblins, excited as they are. They're going to take a lot of damage if they dive in. I was hoping the black orcs would take a lot more damage from the guns before the melee began, but hey, it is what it is. Let's pull these guys off to the side and keep our Chaos Dwarf warriors coming through. Bit of friendly fire there, it looks like. Interesting. Okay, in we go. That guy's going to go down. We're taking some shots. That's all right. Turn these guys around. Maybe focus down over here. Some of our laborers are giving up on the fight. That's okay. These guys are firing away. These guys are back. Why don't we go ahead and shut them down? Let's send Zorak over here. Let's go. These guys are firing down over here. Astragoth's holding them in place. That's great. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Black orcs have been taken care of. Excellent. The Chaos Dwarf warriors with great weapons are working on the orc war boss now alongside the renders. Let's pull the renders back. Shut down these archers. I want to get some cycle charging going on. Cinematic shots obviously took my attention away for a moment there, but nothing too bad. Took more damage than maybe I would have liked, but victory's pretty much guaranteed. A little bit of damage here and there. We'll replenish in no time. We'll be just fine. Good stuff. I suspect that was a decisive victory to kick things off. All right. Beauty. Beautiful stuff. Some of these kill counts, man. 183 kills. 183 kills. Damn. All right. 114 on these renders, too. Again, folks, I think 100 is a good threshold for a unit earning its name. But you know, we can always wait for epic moments and stuff like that as well. We've had some good backstories and storylines, so feel free to fire them off as soon as the ideas come to you, and I'll have some fun dropping them in. Toruk over here took a decent bit of damage, unfortunately. I should have been a bit more careful with him, but overall, that was pretty good. Now, remember, we used up some laborers, right, to rush the construction of a mine. So we should probably try and make up for that. We can transport captives for almost 100 laborers from the from this click alone, and then the battle itself gives us 19, right? So that's 100 plus. So let's go ahead and do that, as opposed to the extra money for our treasury or the army replenishment. We'll be fine in terms of army strength. So labor it shall be, and that army is going to drop. Excellent. And we should now... Oh, wow. We're already at 100 efficiency again, so not even concerned anymore. To be fair, though, we are going to lose labor every turn. Depending on control, you lose a different amount of labor per turn. Even when control is at its highest, you lose 3% labor per turn with a minimum loss of 5. And when control is all the way at its lowest, you lose 20% of your labor per turn with a minimum still of 5. So, got to stay on top of bringing additional laborers in to make sure you don't have your efficiency drop or anything like that. So, with that said, let's go ahead and upgrade our 2 characters in here, or I guess just Astragoth gets the upgrade, and then we'll move in towards the fort, because it looks like we can, in fact, reach it. We'll stick with the Root Marcher to kick things off. I like the extra movement range. I am a fan of Lightning Strike as well, so we're going to go ahead and do our typical start over here, and then chase after some of the other upgrades that are available to us as well, of course. Astragoth has access to Burning Wrath, which we already saw in action a little bit there at the when the melee began in that battle. Probably could have used that a bit more effectively, but hey, it's fine. Cinematic shots we're taking the priority there. We've got Killing Fire over here. The Flame of Hashut kindles best in living flesh and always hungers to destroy. This is a passive, causing damage in the area just around Astragoth when he's casting a spell. So it's a minimal bit of work, but like might consider getting it. We got Kindle Flame, of course, which makes enemies a bit more susceptible to fire damage. We might want to take that in a more serious consideration. Cascading Fire Cloak, Ash Storm is a great way to control the speed of your enemies, and it's also a great way to make them even weaker to fire. So, you know, that and Kindle Flame as a pair might be an interesting move, I guess. Flaming Sword of Ruin, Evasion, Hellhammer over here gives us the Hellhammer spell, which is a wind spell, which the wind spells are always fun to use. Later we got Flame Storm, Earthing, Magical Reserves, and Greater Arcane Conduit. Just wanted to highlight his access to spells in particular. Everything else we'll detail as we get further along, because I don't want to get too stuck in with anything in particular. Let's go ahead and move into the fort. Actually, first, up over here at Uzkulak, let's pick out a building, shall we? Eventually, I'll want the iron mines over here, because they actually are high-quality assembly lines, meaning they will produce more armaments than the average armament-producing building, though they will also consume quite a few more raw materials. If we have 300-plus raw materials, only then will this building function. But hey, we're not even close to Tier 3 yet, so that's a conversation for later. But separately, I want to point out that we'll want to chase after any settlements near us that have marble. I believe there are some near here that have marble, because marble, yeah, there we go. Settlements with marble have a building available to them, a quarry available to them that increases the production of raw materials. And again, that is what we kind of need for our high-powered drill assembly line, right? So I'm just going to try and prioritize that and use that to influence our direction here a little bit. Anyway, sorry, back to Uzkulak. Getting distracted here. But let's go ahead and invest in what? Let's get I'm thinking the Ziggurat Tenements, because that increases Lord Recruit rank and Hero Recruit rank and Casualty Replenishment rate. No, actually. That's not as worth it as I initially thought. Some extra money is never bad. We could take a look at Improved Defense. I don't think that's going to be necessary. Gain access to Hobgoblins. This is better off in a smaller settlement, because it only goes up to Tier 2. I could save room for this. There's really, I don't really have that many options at this tier, and I don't think I want to wait for the next tier to fill up this slot over here. So why don't we go ahead and get ourselves extra income generation? The sooner you get that, the more money you make off the building, right? So yeah, that seems reasonable. That seems reasonable to me. Sure. Does this help with... No. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. It'll take 2 turns to build. I'm not going to rush that construction. And with that decision made and research decision made, just trying to add a bit of a buffer between the battles, right? We're going to dive into that battle. I'm going to here pick up the Call to War. Increases leadership and melee defense for our Chaos Dwarf melee infantry units specifically. It does not apply to our laborers or our hobgoblins, right? It's just the Chaos Dwarf units in particular, and there's quite a few of them that I hope to include as we move along. And then Hollow Rounds is what I'd like to pick up next, and that's kind of why I'm rushing towards the Call to War, because the extra missile strength for our Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses and later on Infernal Guards, with the Fire Glaives will be quite nice, and the reload time reduction for the very same units is also going to be a nice upgrade. So we'll move in that general direction, and then we'll go ahead and move in this general direction as well. I'm sure this will be an easy enough battle to win. Again, this is just the opening section of a campaign. Got to be careful not to lose Toruk right at the beginning of this campaign, though. That would be a shame. What do they got? Some Goblin Archers. They got some Goblin Wolf Riders and some Goblins. And yeah, okay, we should be fine here. We should be fine. To the battlefield we go. All right. What do we got here? Oh, it's not even a full-on... yeah, we'll be fine. Start deployment. It's not even a full-fledged like settlement with towers and stuff. That would have caused me some concern, but this shouldn't be a problem. Let's keep these goblins alive. Honestly, laborers, they come so cheaply. I really shouldn't be worried about keeping them alive, but we'll try, and we'll keep our Bull Centaur renders and Bull Centaur Torek moving. I called him Torek earlier. His name's Zorak. My apologies. My apologies. Let's get you set up. Let's get you set up. These guys set up as well. Good stuff. Get you off to the side there and get you off to the side here just to make sure we have clear firing lines to kick things off, and then we can intercept the enemy as they begin to charge. And maybe these guys can come in from the side for like flanking maneuvers or something. Astragoth will have to do some heavy lifting here just to make up for the damaged troops and all that good stuff, and we can begin. Let's go. Again, we should have this. Like, victory is pretty much guaranteed, but I like to keep my units alive. If you're familiar with the channel, you'll know this. I like to keep my units alive, so that's where my concern really comes. We have Cascading Fire Cloak for the extra melee defense and extra armor-piercing weapon damage, so got to keep that in mind. And Burning Wrath should be able to reach. Let's go ahead and hit... let's hit these orc boys, sure. Get that shot in. Do a bit of damage to kick things off and soften these guys up, right? Good hit. Again, it's going to last for a little bit of time. Doesn't do all that much, but it's something. Every little bit counts, right? Army's slowly marching up after all, right? So why just sit around and do nothing? Could hit these Goblin Wolf Riders to kick things off. I mean, these guys are anti-infantry. Buddy here is anti-large. Alright, let's try this. Let's get you rolling up this way. Let's get you rolling down that way soon. Move these guys up, though. Gotta get the action started. We gotta get all the way up to there, pretty much. Get you over there. Let's go. Pop this from Astragoth. In we go. Just gotta keep our eyes on this guy's health bar, obviously. Want to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. He's got to replenish quickly as well. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay. Guys are turning around to open fire. We're gonna go in with a nice charge. These guys grouped up as well. In we go, in we go. Come on. Yep, and good hits, good hits. Beautiful stuff. Bloodbath, literally. Pull you back. Gotta do a lot more cycle charging this time around. Open fire over there. Send these guys up there. Shut that nonsense down. Tempted to send these guys up against these orc boys. We're going, we're going. Open fire, guys. They don't have lines of sight, that's the problem. We're okay. They're decent in melee, so they'll be fine. Astragoth, let's move you up as well, buddy. Bring these guys down over here. Let's go. Bring these guys over here. Let's go. Those guys are being taken care of. Excellent. Astragoth's coming through. Pop this over here, sure. Just keep those guys alive. Let's pop this up over there. Good stuff. Hopefully that's not going to cause friendly fire. It might. Good shooting down over here. Excellent. These guys are coming through against these archers. That should be good. I got to deal with these archers as well eventually, but the spell has worked out nicely. In comes a charge back here. Yeah, good stuff. Let's bring these guys down here. Good route there. Keep pushing there. Move you up this way. Looking good, looking good. Where's our friend? Don't do that. Bring buddy back here. Bring you up there. Let's go. Let's send these guys up over there. Good stuff. I'll bring these guys up and around to hit the archers from the back over here. And the enemy goblins in place. Still firing from basically point blank range. Move these guys up there. And bring you down over here. Let's go. Astragoth getting some work done as well. In comes a charge. Nice and clean. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Not clean at all. That's dirty as hell. I love it. Good rear charge. These guys are about to break. In comes Astragoth as well. The Goblin Wolf Riders are still around. Let's go ahead and turn Zorak around to hit these guys. Again, he is anti-large, right? So they'll be fine over here. Good stuff, good stuff. Nice and easy. Gunfire coming through as well. These laborers are in a bit of trouble, but not too concerned about that. We'll be able to recruit replacements in no time. These guys are breaking. Beautiful. Beautiful. Open fire up here, please. Here are these orc boys. Goblins are engaged over there. We're good over here. These goblins are sticking around, eh? That's okay. Try another cycle charge, I guess. If we even need to. They might just break before we can pull it off. Astragoth's getting some work done there. Astragoth, let's get you up over here against these goblins. Bring these guys back around. And charge. Looks like the enemy's done for, though. Yeah, excellent. Decisive victory, I assume. A couple of units will need replacing, but that's all good. That's all good. 76, 72, 141. Man, the Bull Centaur renders. Again, we're tossing them against a bunch of like goblins and stuff, right? Obviously, they're going to have high kill counts. That's why even after the previous battle, I was kind of hesitant to be like, yeah, maybe, like, do we name these units? It's just goblins that they're just absolutely mulching. But they're still fun numbers. The 100 pluses are always fun to see. My goodness, they took like no damage, these renders. And almost 200 kills there. 122 for Astragoth, 118 for Zorak here. Good stuff. Good stuff. So this is... Okay, so now that we've taken a settlement, things are a little different for Chaos Dwarfs over here. We have the typical options of sacking and raising, but when it comes to occupying, we can go two different ways. Either we can occupy as an outpost, or we can occupy as a factory. An outpost is ideal for raw material production, whereas a factory is ideal for armament production and for recruitment. Outposts don't get access to the full gamut of Chaos Dwarf units. They only get access to Goblin Laborer and Hobgoblin units, if memory serves correctly. So we already have, actually, at the Falls of Doom, an outpost. So instead we'll go with a factory over here, because if I recall correctly, Uzkulani doesn't have any, like, marble or anything like that that would influence our decision in that way. Again, if we sack or raise, we get different resources. Raising in particular gets us some raw materials, whereas sacking and occupying gets us labor, and sacking in particular gets us some money as well. But occupy as factory it shall be. Oh, hang on a second. Uzkulani is elsewhere. This is Fort Dorzenvort. Oh, these names, man. These names. Either way, it seems we've secured ourselves a Hobgoblin mustering camp. That's good. It does give us access to units that we don't regularly have access to, so why don't we go ahead and recruit some of those, and eventually we'll get maybe some of the, better, let's call them, units available from here. I would have loved to get the gunsmith up and running sooner rather than later to produce armaments right off the bat, and I'm kind of tempted maybe after we do a round of recruiting from this Hobgoblin mustering camp, maybe we demolish it and get the gunsmith or assembly line of buildings going. With that said, though, we will be chasing after Uzkulani, so hey, it doesn't matter that I misnamed or referenced the fort incorrectly previously, because eventually we'll have everything over here, and it's not that far away, so next turn we should be able to secure that. But this turn, let's go ahead and get some recruitment going. Again, Orc laborers and Goblin laborers are pretty much always available, but the Hobgoblin mustering camp gives us access to some of these Hobgoblin units. I'm gonna go ahead and get some Hobgoblin archers, but before I do that, let's secure ourselves some additional Chaos Dwarf warriors with great weapons. We do have a unit capacity to keep an eye on. Again, the Hellforge is where we can have an impact on that, and it's interesting how it works, where things are grouped into categories, and your limits apply across those categories as opposed to for individual units. So we have a limit of 2 Chaos Dwarf warriors, whether they're regular or they are with great weapons. Separately, we have a limit of 1 Infernal Guard, whether they are the regular Infernal Guard or the ones with great weapons. So that's kind of how this works, and we can invest in armaments to increase the unit cap. And this cap is obviously empire-wide, right? It's not per army, it's empire-wide, and when we cross certain thresholds, again, we can get into the manufactory with regards to upgrades. So this is something I'd like to do sooner rather than later, and I do believe next turn we'll be able to invest in at least one of those upgrades to get more Chaos Dwarf warriors into our armies. But in the meantime, let's get ourselves a pair of Hobgoblin archers, I'm thinking. And you know what, replenishment is looking okay. I'm going to go ahead and give Astragoth some upgrades over here with Logistician. Casualty replenishment rate should go up like marginally, so that's not going to make a notable difference over here. It's something, but it's nothing wild. I'm almost tempted to merge these guys together, but I can't replace them immediately, so we'll keep them around. Sure. We'll get the great weapons, a couple of ranged units, and you know what, Zorak, you get to upgrade as well. Let's get you training. Good stuff. The faster experience gain is always welcome, right? That is, I believe, our first turn done. I'm not going to rush anything, and of course, because we've collected all these laborers, we have a bit of leeway now in terms of the laborer drain, let's call it, versus the sort of workload number that we want to keep the laborer count above. So we have some time before this will cause us any stress. And of course, we're moving towards Uzkolani to secure even more laborers in just a turn's time. Separately, later on, we'll have access to military convoys. They're just like Cathay's, like, trade stuff, the Silk Road or whatever it ended up being called, and that will allow us to secure additional laborers and things like that, albeit at a cost of certain resources. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, we've got to the end of our first turn. Let's see what the AI gets up to. Nothing too impressive, I imagine. Yeah, nothing too impressive. More labor must be found to feed the forges. Yes, that sounds good. New mission issued. Labors of war. Fight 3 battles. You know, I should have just held off. I should have just not gotten into those initial battles last turn, let this mission trigger, and then actually gain the extra money and boost to labor gain. But it's fine. It's fine. I don't actually have regrets. I just think it's funny that it's queued up like this. All life other than that of the Dawi Zharr only has value as a resource, a commodity of muscle and sinew to be amassed, exploited, and spent. Even now, the need for fresh labor increases with time, the vast industries of your isolated empire ever hungering for more. Yeah, good stuff. This is a bit of a mini tutorial kind of a thing, hand-holding kind of a thing, all good. And what is this now? Gouge the world. Construct a building from the mine chain in an outpost settlement to produce raw materials. The plundered riches of the earth must find their way onto your stockpiles. So, to this end, you must drill, dig, and delve deep into the rock and filth in pursuit of the treasures that lie below. No landscape shall be spared. Again, bit of a mini tutorial kind of a thing. We already have the mines built. Getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's fine. Would have just given us a bit of money and some labor. We're okay. It'll trigger eventually. But it's just funny that me trying to be efficient is biting me in the butt. Let's go ahead and move towards Uzkolani over here. They are currently recruiting. Let's not let that get too far. And let's go ahead and secure another settlement and the entire province, actually. Should be another... Ooh. I was going to say easy battle, but it's predicting a Pyrrhic victory for us. Most of our valuable troops are at full health. We've got an additional unit of Chaos Dwarf warriors with great weapons this time around. Might lose some of these goblin laborers, but I'm not too fussed about that. They got quite a few orc boys over here. Some orc arrow boys as well, and some goblin archers. So got to shut down the ranged contingent as quickly as possible. And Drak Bootblika over here might be a bit of a pain too, but I think we'll be fine, folks. To the battlefield we go. The real pain is going to be the settlement layout. Right, it's an actual settlement battle this time around. What have we got? Let's go ahead and try to channel magic. Sure, luck is probably going to be against us. Of course, of course. Oh my goodness, stop. Okay, cool. Start deployment. We'll recover that in no time. It's not the end of the world, but it is, of course, the first time I click channel magic, it goes down as opposed to up. What are we looking at here? God, this is a hectic layout, eh? I suppose we could keep our forces together, because I don't think we'll do too well if we move in separate pieces, just because we have laborers and stuff. Actually, you know, what we could do is get these goblin laborers and these orc laborers off to like the side over here or something, basically to die. We're gonna use our look. Let's call it what it is, right? We're gonna use our slave troops like we don't care about them. They're meant to distract the enemy. They're meant to draw their ire in that general direction, and if they don't get drawn in that direction, cool, we'll move in, we'll secure some points and maybe apply some pressure, but otherwise the bulk of our force will come in from over here. We could get our renders alongside Zorak, right? Zorak, yeah. These guys can maybe come in from this side and just apply some pressure up over here or something like that, but the bulk of our forces maybe go across the bridge this way. Why would I put myself on a choke point like that? Main point's up over there. God. I mean, we got 3 bridges over here. If we can cross them at the same time, that's maybe manageable. Let's get you guys over here. Let's get you guys over here. You know what? Maybe we can draw the enemy towards us as far as the choke point's concerned. Highly doubt it, but it's worth a shot, I suppose. Get these guys grouped up together for the time being. We'll be more particular in more complex battles, I think. Now let's get these guys set up over here. Of course, I can't actually. Okay, that's fine. Move up the bridge over here. Get up to this point, and then maybe spread out a little bit. Keep applying pressure. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll be okay. Let's begin. Oh, they've actually... Alright. Send you up there. Let's go. Then you guys up there. Quickly now. Pop this nice and early. Hit, what? Goblin archers. That will scare them pretty quickly, I think. Hit these orc arrow boys at the back there. Gotta creep up a little bit, maybe. Get you guys positioned like that. And honestly, get these guys positioned down over here. Get rid of all those orc arrow boys and stuff. Orc arrow boys, sorry. This is gonna be trouble. This I'm not looking forward to. The arrow towers and stuff is gonna be problems. Moving as quickly as possible. Want to open fire at the arrow tower to finish it off. These guys are falling back. These guys are caught up over here by some orc boys. That's okay. Should be fine. Pull back and do some cycle charging. Yeah, that'll keep them on their toes. These guys seem to be falling back as well, which is good to see. Pull them back. And turn around. Let's go. Astragoth, let's get you up over here. Shut down these goblin archers and the orc arrow boys. Drop Burning Wrath up over there, maybe. Hitting this tower. Yeah, excellent. These guys are moving up. Let's go. Actually, focus on the tower still. You two, let's go quickly. As quick as you can. This is about to drop. Any second now. Down it goes. Turn around, open fire up there. Doing okay over here. Another cycle charge is necessary, I think. Get buddy out of there as well so we can keep looping. Astragoth, let's go, buddy. Told him to cast, which is why he stopped moving. Let's go, open fire. Scare these arrow boys away. Astragoth's rolling up. Gonna turn around and charge these guys. Let's send you up this way. Go and try to cap that point. What's the deal up over here? They're about to arrive at that point. Took their sweet time, but hey, it's okay. Are we spread out over here? Let's go. Let's go, let's go. Send these guys up. Gonna eat some damage over there. In comes a charge down here. Hopefully it'll get some work done. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. Excellent. Gonna cap that. You know what? Let's pull you back over here so these archers have to chase after us. Astrogoth's having a bit of a field day there, hopefully. And down over here, we're opening fire. Yeah, get some work done, please. Fire up there as well. You guys fire over here. You chase this, and you chase this. Let's go. They are orc arrow boys up over here, so they can, like, put up a fight in melee, so to speak, but I think we'll be okay. Some good shooting there. A lot of friendly fire there. That's a lot of friendly fire. Can't afford that. Fire up here, please. Let's go. All right. Again, we'll take some damage here and there, but oh, look at that! My God, that was a lot of work. Okay, turn you around and fire up over here, please. Let's go. Turn these guys around as well. These guys need to fire up there, maybe. Astragoth up here. Let's go. Keep those guys busy. Back over here, we're capping points. Cool. Go up to the main point. Maybe we can actually draw them back then. Astragoth's okay, keeping these guys occupied. Turn you around and fire up there. Let's go. Shut that nonsense down. These guys can maybe fire up there. Or, you know what, push up to there. After this point, excellent. We could move up to this point next. Sure. Why are you seriously? You can't go up this way? Oh my God. Okay, fine. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. We're good over here, scaring these guys off and just keeping them disorganized. That's great to see. Good stuff over here. Get these guys moving up. Keep pushing. These guys firing up over here, perhaps. I'm trying to hold the line over here. Bit of trouble. Help these guys out. Pull you back ever so slightly. Got a little zealous there, I think. Trying to hold these guys in place. Yeah, there we go. Range fire's coming through. And obviously these towers are going to cause us some trouble, so we got to pull back over here. Turn around, open fire. Let's go. And these goblins over this way. Maybe get a rear charge up there. Astragoth, how you doing? Doing okay? Doing okay. Moving up to cap that point. Yeah. I think. Are we in there? Get in there. Get in there. Let's go. Gonna cap that as quickly as possible. Can we open fire over here, please? Bring you over this way. Let's go. Starting to scare these guys off a little bit. Yeah, excellent. All right, open fire. Let's go. Finish him off. Astragoth. Chase up this way. Let's go. I don't know if that arrow is actually... Yeah, it is. He's coming through. Capping. Yeah, looking good. Down over here, these guys are still moving, slowly but surely. And down over here. Oh, look at that. Obliterated these goblins. Can we take care of that tower, maybe? Or, you know what? Come up this way and open fire on the sides of these goblins, perhaps. Tower is causing us some trouble. These guys are in trouble. Alright. Gotta take care of the tower. Let's go. How to eliminate the tower. These guys are just barely hanging in there. Again, I don't like losing units. I don't like losing units. That's my... It's a big hang-up of mine. So I'm almost tempted to retreat with these guys. Turn you around to open fire on the backs of these goblins. Not those, these goblins. Come around the bend and destroy that arrow tower. I want to break these guys so we can push through them, basically. The amount of friendly fire we did to these units of ours early on didn't help, obviously. Alright, let's get to work up there. These guys are almost taken care of. Yeah, excellent. Astragoth, move you up over here. This has been taken. Excellent. I guess we could take this as well now. Sure. There is a tower up over here, so I would like to have it fall. Gotta be careful not to lose any units up there, though. On this tower, how you looking? Taking some damage. Blunderbusses can fire up there. Fire over here, let's go. These guys can come up here. Maybe charge those guys. The Hobgoblin Archers. Firing away at the tower, yeah. Slowly but surely getting some damage done. Get these guys firing up there. Keep these guys at bay, basically. Come on now. There we go. Oh my goodness, they're turning into mist, it looks like. It's just the impact effect, but it does look like they're turning into just mist. I love it. We're good? Yeah, we're causing some damage. Open fire up there. And let's come up this way, let's go. Astragoth. Deal with these archers, sure. That war boss is going to cause us some trouble too eventually. Gotta deal with those orc error boys as well. We're okay though, we're okay. We've definitely got the upper hand. Some units have taken some damage, but not the end of the world. Pull these guys back a little bit. Tower needs dropping. Get you guys back, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Pull you both back. Better angles perhaps will help. Astragoth up over here, let's go. Done capping this. Let's charge these guys from the back. Trying to trigger army losses or something over here. How's this looking? Taking some damage, excellent. Gotta hold these guys in place, please. As we continue to pull back, open fire over here, scare them off. Turn around and open fire up there, let's go. Good rear charges here should do the trick. Just gotta hold the line over here. And this tower is now finally taking some decent damage because the blunderbusses are now focusing on them as well. Cool. Maybe lost these laborers. Not the end of the world if that's the case. Again, they're doing their job, right? They're doing their job. We're okay. Scaring some of these guys off. Good stuff. Holding the line. Yeah, good stuff. That tower's about to drop. Yes, absolutely. These blunderbusses can be pulled back. Let's get our Hobgoblin Archers firing over here instead. Let's get these blunderbusses coming around, maybe. Ah, we're so close. Really hoping I get one more volley off. We're good, we're good. Send these guys up this way. Don't engage in melee, please. Terror and stuff is kicking in. Routes are kicking in. Good, 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 good. Break. What's the deal up over here? Astragoth, you doing okay? He's doing fine. We're doing good up there. Bring these guys down this way. Down goes the enemy tower. Excellent. Scaring these guys off as well. Beautiful. Let's go. Let's go. And I'm just trying to figure out if I can bring these guys down over here. If I can chase after the Goblin Wolf Riders with our anti-large, right? Hey, buddy, over here. Astragoth. Chase after that. Pop this here. Could be good. That tower, that tower's going to cause us some trouble, so I do have to eliminate that. Let's work on that. I'm going to move through here. Get these guys punching through these Goblin Archers. Buddy, you got to move through. Come on. Come on, I don't need you tied down over there. I need you tied down over here. And ideally away from any towers. Let's go ahead and cap this point at the same time. Yeah, there we go. They're free. Cool. Up over here, we're about to start opening fire. Get this set up over here so these guys get shut down ASAP. The enemy tower is still active back over here. My goodness. And it's got decent range. We're capping this now, though, so that should be helpful. And you know what? Get these guys firing up there. And get the blunderbusses up over here. The blunderbusses work so quickly, we'll be fine. Get you on these guys, let's go. Doing okay against the Wolf Riders. And looks like Drak Bootlika is taking some morale damage, not much more than that. Up over here, getting some work done. Astragoth, let's go in. Pull you back ever so slightly, because he could cause us some trouble. You cap there, turn around, open fire. Keep pulling back. Spread these guys out a little bit. We're able to fire cleanly. There we go. There we go. There's the victory, but I love to see the shooting as well. In comes Astragoth. Away goes Astragoth. Alright. We're going to call it there. Obviously, the army's been completely taken care of, so we'll end the battle. Close victory. Better than Pyrrhic. I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. Decent bit of work there. Got a little touch and go at certain points. A little bit of rust, but not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty pleased with that. You know, we lost no units despite towers and all that good stuff. I wanted to see the value of the hobgoblin archers. Oh, hey, nice. I want to see the value of the hobgoblin archers in terms of taking down towers and stuff, and the answer is next to nil. So we got to keep that in mind, and it's the blunderbusses whose job it'll be to take care of towers. But overall, I mean, yeah, that went pretty smoothly. Took a bit of damage here and there. Again, not too worried about laborers taking damage. They can be... In fact, some of those units were set up for quote-unquote failure, and they still managed to survive, so that's rather impressive. 100 kills per on these hobgoblin archers, 137, 177 on the blunderbusses. I can already tell I'm going to have such a good time with this campaign. 257 kills with the Bull Centaur renders as well. And I mean, look at these numbers. 163, 126, 200, 249. My goodness. Every number I look at is bigger than the last. Let's go ahead and secure this standard of discipline. Let's secure all these resources, and let's secure this province. Let's go. I'm thinking we have a factory. We have a mine. Who's Kalani? What do you have? I wish I could scroll back and see what you have. Maybe I should go with another factory and have one of them produce armaments, and the other one has the hobgoblins right now, right? Again, you can always switch these later. That's not ideal. Sure, let's double down on factories and hope that there isn't a marble deposit over here that I missed. Oh, okay. Pastures. I think we'll be fine. And you know what? Uzkalani comes with the gunsmith already built. So that's great. We'll get more armaments per turn. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. There's our standard of discipline. I'll assign that if I remember to. And let's also assign some of these skill points. Let's get 2 more bumps of logistician over here. Then we'll chase after. I'm thinking maybe tyrant's not a bad idea. Ruthless disciplinarian. Cunning. I might go after tyrant just to get more income and labor from each battle. And then, of course, iron-willed and lightning strike before we move on to some of our other options. Though, again, these things are also pretty worthwhile, right? Like, what am I thinking here? I'm thinking serve or die is great to reduce recruitment cost. Unbridled cruelty is good to reduce upkeep costs. Like, there's options here. But I do want to do some exploring up top over there, especially for options that make our blunderbusses even more powerful. Either way, over to Zorak next. He's got some skill points too. Training is done. I suppose we could go after spread control. Sure. And survivalist. Sure. You know what, actually? Survivalist and expeditious endeavor. Have him moving a bit faster and causing and staying alive. I was gonna say causing more damage. If he stays alive longer, he causes more damage, technically speaking. You know what I mean. But this is good. This is good. I could recruit some more units. We have access to the same bunch. We are limited in terms of our warriors, but what I can do now is head on over to the Hellforge and actually upgrade our options here, so that we have access to an additional unit of warriors, whether they're with great weapons or without. Doing that upgrade will also unlock Rune of Frenzy, which will give the passive ability Frenzy to any of the units that fall under the melee infantry category as a whole. However, that does come with an upkeep cost in armaments, and I just don't know if that's worth it. If we spend 100, we'll be empty, and then all that for what? One more unit of Chaos Dwarf warriors? I mean, we kind of need them, truth be told. We kind of need them. Okay, here. Let's go ahead and do this upgrade. We'll increase our cap. We'll gain access to the manufactory and the Rune of Frenzy, but I don't think we'll actually apply it, because that'll cost us 16 armaments per turn, and I see no reason. Like, Frenzy is good, but I don't know if I want to do that until I have a stockpile of armaments. Just going to be a little patient until we have some armaments to fling around, partly because I don't know if events and stuff will pop up that will require armaments to complete and give us better benefits, and I want to leave that I want to leave those doors open, obviously. With that said, though, let's go ahead and immediately recruit an additional Chaos Dwarf warrior unit. I'm kind of tempted to get the warriors without the great weapons, just to have some shielded units, But apart from that, their melee defense is a bit higher. Their melee attack is the same. They're not armor piercing. You know what? Sure. Let's go with these Chaos Dwarf warriors. Variety's a spice of life. And apart from that, let's get ourselves maybe some more laborers as well. These guys will take about 2 turns or so to top up. Well, I don't think I need to do any merging, but I wouldn't mind getting some orc laborers. Again, they have a touch of armor. They're slightly better. They're also slightly more expensive as far as upkeep is concerned. Let's get a pair of those, and that should be enough to keep the enemy occupied at the very least. Tempted to do some global recruitment, but we can hang tight for 2 turns as we spend some time on our economy and maybe we move towards, I was going to say the desolation of Drakenmoor. Then I noticed the Silver Pinnacle has gemstones, which might be worth investigating. And of course, let's not forget my initial directive of chasing after Marble, but I'm always hesitant to go to war with Skaven, not only because I'm partial to Skaven, but also more seriously because I hate being constantly ambushed. There's no feeling quite like it. Some decisions to make. I might go chasing after the gemstones first. It'll put us in a small war against these folks, I think, right? Might be a bit of a challenge because all the undead and stuff, but we might do that, chase after the gemstones, and then go chasing after the marble because the gemstones are just so close. But before that, we should take a look at our commandments here. We can get billowing smokestacks for extra control and reduced plague spread chance. We got higher quotas for better income from refinery buildings and better armament output as well. Might not be a bad idea. A military doctrine for reduced recruitment cost and improved recruit rank for armies in the province as well. Again, in theory, I could cancel these recruitments and get that commandment going first, but I'm not going to waste time with that. We're fine as we are. We're just about to finish some construction, so there's no point going after masterful architects. You know what? Let's go with higher quotas. More income, more armaments, and we should be good. And also, we got plenty of labor to fuel our industry, so we'll be fine in terms of workload for some time yet. Though securing even one settlement in an additional province opens up the labor economy and allows us to start shifting people around to make sure that we aren't losing people needlessly and to make sure that we are maximizing the procurement of resources and the exploitation of our so-called labor. More of that, folks, to come next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would like to see more of this series on the channel, please, as I mentioned earlier, don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. Makes a very big difference in letting me know what people are interested in watching on the channel, lets me know what I should do more or less of, and lets me know how I should maybe adjust my approach and stuff as well. Again, and as always, if you have name suggestions for any of our glorious units, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below. Putting a timestamp down is helpful as well to let me know exactly which unit you're naming from which battle. That gets more and more important as we have more and more armies, but that's something to keep in mind, and putting the word name in your comment is a great way to make sure it can be easily found when I'm doing some digging. But folks, next episode will be out in 2 days' time at around the same time of day, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and don't hesitate to join our Discord if you're looking for others to play the game with yourself. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.